Hey guys, so I'm here to finally do my top 10 best movies of the year of 2017 list. This is a list that, of course, I'm doing in February. Normal people will probably be doing this in beginning of January, end of December. Nope, I'm doing it in February of 2018. I explained before in my last few reviews that why I'm doing this is because there were a set of movies that I wanted to see before I made this top 10 list that hadn't come to my theater until January and the month of January to the beginning of February. And because of that, I held off doing this list. And I'm not gonna lie, this is one of the hardest lists I've had to make in a long goddamn time. I've said this. I know I've said that before about some of my top 10 lists, but man, oh man, was this hard to do. Because I saw a lot of goddamn good movies this year. A lot of good movies that I had to leave out that I really wanted to put in, but I'm like, well, I kind of like this one better than that. And I'm like, this. Before I get into my top 10 list, I do want to mention some honorable mentions, movies that barely did not make my list that I wish to put on there, but I didn't. Let's see. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I fucking love that movie. It was my favorite Marvel movie of this year. I liked it a lot better than 4. I liked it a lot better than Spider-Man, even though I like both of those movies. This movie, I thought, improved on parts of the first one. While I still love the first one more, it did improve upon parts like some of the side characters got a little bit more characterization. I really dug Guardians of the Galaxy 2. War for the Planet of the Apes. Again, that was a movie that I really liked, like a lot of people. That was just like all the other ones. This is, like I said, this is the only trilogy I've ever seen that each movie got better as the entries got more went along, and this was a case of that. Detroit was another one. Coco didn't make my list. Molly's Game, which I said about a month ago that was probably going to make my list, well, didn't. Really debated putting this on or not. I was kind of pissed that it didn't. And The Post, too. Those are all movies that I just barely didn't make my list, but I felt like should get honorable mentions as movies that just barely didn't make it. So let's get into the top 10 list, because I don't want to make this. I want to get to bed here. Number 10, All the Money in the World. This is definitely Ridley Scott's best movie of the year. I'll explain that and when I get into my worst of the year list. But this was one of those movies where, like, God damn, Ridley Scott is a great director. This was a true story that was really fucking dark and kind of disturbing of a story. Almost somewhat more disturbing when you learn the facts of what happened after the movie. It's a movie that got overlooked, I felt, too much because of Kevin Spacey, the shit with Kevin Spacey. But for a last minute fucking replacement, Christopher Plummer did a fantastic job as like this rich old billionaire tycoon that reminded me of like if Gordon Gekko became a rich oil tycoon and became like even more and never changed anything about what the way he was in the fucking Wall Street. That's what you get with this like fucking character. I love Christopher Plummer. If it wasn't for like a few other performances, I would say he would be the favorite one, best supporting actor, but he was fucking great in that movie. Everybody else was great. Michelle Williams was great. I love the story. It was a very dark, disturbing story. Like, man, oh man, if I didn't know going in that it kind of does have a happy ending, I would have been worried about the characters a little bit more, but man, it's still a really intense, really disturbing, really hard to watch sometimes. Movie, it's a damn good movie. Go check it out if you haven't seen it. Number 9, The Shape of Water. I know this will probably be higher on a lot of people's list, but it's a movie, like I said, I felt like even though I loved it, and I thought it was a fantastic movie, I thought there was a lot of movies better than this. And like I said, this is a fantastic movie. This is definitely Guillermo del Toro's one of his best movies in years since Pan's Labyrinth. Even though he's made a lot of great movies, he still is a great director. I love most of his movies that he makes, and this is definitely his best one since since Pan's Labyrinth. It's a great love letter to like monster movies and musicals, even like of the old days, the old school movies. Sally Hawkins' performance is amazing. Doug Jones as the fucking creature is amazing. Richard Jenkins is amazing. Michael Shannon is underrated in this fucking movie. Like I said in my review, he's a great villain as this cold-blooded person. The movie is beautiful as hell. The creature looks amazing. It's should win best costume design, set design, all that stuff like that. It should win a lot of awards come Oscar season. If it wins best picture, have no problem with it. But it wasn't my favorite film of the year, but it's a movie that if it wins best picture, I'm fine with it. Number 8, Blade Runner 2049. Now, this is the only reason I didn't put Shape of Water higher is because of this movie. This, my opinion, was the best sci-fi movie of 2017. This was just a step better, and the fact that this didn't fucking get nominated for Best Picture is horseshit. And this is coming from somebody who wasn't that big of a fan of the first one. This movie, I felt, improved. Does what every sequel should do, and that is improve upon the first one. I felt like it delved more into the mythology of the first one, gave a little bit more of, had a little bit more characters than the first one. I love Ryan Gosling in this. I loved Harrison Ford in this. I love the like I said, the expansion of the world. I like a lot of the ideas that were presented in Blade Runner. Like I said, I felt were delved more upon than they were in Blade Runner, and that's okay. I understand why they couldn't, because they had limitations, but still at the same time, this movie improves upon the first one because of the technology they have nowadays, and it's a fantastic movie. Blade Runner 2049 is really good, and it's a damn shame that this didn't even do well at the box office or even fucking get nominated for anything at the Oscars. How the hell did this not get nominated? That will baffle me to the end of time. How the hell this was a well-received movie. Everybody universally mostly loved it, and it didn't get nominated for shit. How the hell did that happen? Number 7, I, Tonya. This is my latest review that I did before this. I said this would make my top 10 list. Surprise! It made my top 10 list. I, Tonya, fantastic movie. Fantastic story about a kind of a American tragedy, like I said, of a person that going in, you might have a opinion about Tonya Harding going in, but I guarantee your opinion might change by the end of the fucking movie. It's a really heartfelt, hard-hitting look into this person's life that, man oh man, she had a pretty hard life, and the shit that she went through, and then to see how the movie ends and how her story ends is kind of sad. It's a really goddamn good movie. Everybody across the board pulls off a great performance. It's a fantastic, foul-mouthed movie, well-written movie. Like I said, Allison Janney, Margot Robbie, everybody does great. I highly recommend it. Go see it while it's still at your theater. If it is, highly recommend it. Number 6. The hell is number 6? Where the hell? Number 6. Where the hell is? Oh, okay. The Disaster Artist. I had to look that up. I was like, where the hell is moved? Disaster Artist. Yeah, this is a movie that probably is going to get overlooked by everybody on their top 10 list. I didn't really look. I haven't really heard if they overlooked this movie because of James Franco, but I'm not. This movie was one of the funniest movies of the fucking year. This is one of the few movies I walked out of and had a smile across my face and loved almost every fucking single bit of this movie. Yeah, it has some awkward moments in this movie because of all the stuff that's come out about James Franco, including that sex scene. But my God, James Franco's performance, how he transforms himself into Tommy Wiseau. He is so goddamn like he captures that man's mannerisms to his voice, to his laugh, everything about him. He becomes Tommy Wiseau. He does a fantastic job. He makes this guy who's kind of not the most sympathetic person in the world and makes him kind of sympathetic. Like he was kind of an asshole. If you ever seen Tommy Wiseau, he is kind of an asshole, but he makes him a three-dimensional character that you really kind of root for, and they're kind of glad that he kind of succeeded in his own weird way, with this fucking movie, The Room. It's a fantastic movie. It's hilarious. Like I said, James Franco and Dave Franco have great chemistry. No shock, they're brothers. And I would think they would, but who knows? I love The Disaster Artist. It's a shame that this movie got overlooked because of the fucking controversy with James Franco. James Franco should have been one of the top front runners for Best Actor. He was until like about a month ago. And even though I still don't think he would have been able to beat Gary Oldman, I still had like a little bit of hope. And now it's all gone. It's like Gary Oldman is gonna win, and I'm all for Gary Oldman winning The Darkest Hour, but that's not a movie that made my top 10 list. But yeah, it's like, man, it's like the Oscars love to just go for the movies that are about historical figures, but this was a damn good performance. Like I said, if it wasn't for all the controversy that's come out about James Franco, this would have probably been one of the favorites to win Best Actor, and it would have been nominated for Best Picture, for fuck's sake. He probably would have got Best Director nomination. I did get a screenplay, but that's about it. Number 5, that's what it is. Get Out. Number 5 is Get Out. That sounds funny. This is probably one of the first times in a while that I've ever seen a movie that came out at this time last year get as much recognition as it's been getting as far as award seasons go. It's amazing how, like, this is... Like, everybody's talked about this movie enough that I don't think I have much to say about it that hasn't been said already. Jordan Peele, a guy who I would have never guessed in a million years, a guy known for his comedy, his writing as a comedian, and as a guy who's never directed a horror movie or directed a movie at all, would make one of the best horror movies in the last probably 10 years, is amazing. And a horror movie alone, not just one of the best horror movies in the last 10 years, but one of the few to ever be nominated for fucking Best Picture. That's a plus. In a real world, in a perfect world, this would win Best Picture. I'd be fine with that. Get Out is a fantastic movie that is, man, it's a hard one to sit through, and I remember just going, fuck white people. Fucking white people after the end of the movie. It's a movie that had so many twists and turns, like, you had no idea where the fuck it was going. And then when the final reveal happened, Jesus Christ. Yeah, if you haven't seen Get Out, I don't know what to what rock you've been living under. Number 4, Logan. Another movie that came out earlier last year that was easily one of those movies that, again, how the fuck they get overlooked by the Oscars? I know probably just because it's a superhero movie and we don't nominate superhero movies. Fuck you, Oscars. They get nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay, which is weird, but fuck it, it got an Oscar nomination. I was like, you know what? People like Patrick Stewart didn't get nominated. Fucking Hugh Jackman didn't get nominated. Should have got nominated for fucking Best Picture. It's one of the best superhero movies I've seen in the last 10 years. The best superhero movie of 2017. Easily. There was no competition. Not Wonder Woman, not Guardians, nothing. I don't care what anybody tells me. Just because Wonder Woman was directed by a woman and was about a woman superhero doesn't make it better than Logan. Sorry, it doesn't. That's why everybody kind of puts that higher, but it doesn't. And the fact that this didn't get nominated is horseshit. It's one of the most beautiful send-offs to a great character that that has been developed over, I don't know how many X-Men movies have they done, and it was a great send-off to Hugh Jackman's character. It sucks that we're not going to get him part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe X-Men. That's terrible, but I hope he enjoys retirement from that character. I mean, he's a good enough actor. I have no problem with him, but he's always going to be remembered for this role for as long as he lives. No matter what he does, he's always going to be remembered as Wolverine, and this was a great send-off to this character, his version of the character. I highly recommend this fucking movie. Number 3, Baby Driver. Easily my favorite Edgar Wright movie up to this point. It's one of the best movies to use music. It's one of the best car chase movies I've seen in fucking ages. It's a movie that's, I know people will probably won't even put this on their list because of fucking Kevin Spacey, but fuck you, I don't care. I will even admit Kevin Spacey was amazing in this movie. I won't even blink doubt that, even with all the stuff we found out about him this year. But goddamn, Angela Engelhart is great as Baby. It's a damn good movie. Like I said, the music that is used in the car chase sequences is fantastic. Car chase sequences is some of the best I've seen in years. It's a fantastic movie. It's has one of the best opening sequences the car chase sequences I've seen. God damn, I love this movie. Plus, like I said, my favorite Edgar Wright movie up to this point. I know a lot of people will always say, Shaun of the Dead or any of the other movies, Hot Fuzz and stuff, and I agree, those are great movies, but this was my favorite of the movies he's made. I never saw Scott Pilgrim versus the World, if you're wondering, but I will get around to watching that one day, maybe. Number 2, The Big Sick. This was for a long time my favorite film of the year. It was between this and Baby Driver. It was those were my 2 favorite films of the year. The Big Sick is one of the best written, most well-written fucking romantic comedies I've seen in ages. It's the best romantic comedy I've seen, like I said, in God knows how long. It's a movie that felt real, that had real fucking people, and it helped that it was based off a real fucking true story about a couple's real problems that they dealt with when they were first dating. It's a fantastic movie that, again, got fucking no nominations at the Oscars. It got a screenplay, but god damn it, man. It should have got, the actor Camille, I forget what the hell his last name is, the main actor should have been nominated. Ray Romano should have been nominated. Everybody, like I said, there was a million damn good performances. I love the chemistry between Camille and God damn, I forget. It's been a while since I've seen the movie. What the girl's name was? the main actress in this movie. Their chemistry between the two is really sweet, really heartwarming, and like like I said, one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie was where she had to take a shit in his apartment and she was afraid to. That was one of the funniest things. That was one of the only times I sat there like, this is why I love this movie, because this is a real fucking couple. They talk about real fucking problems that every couple deals with that they're first dating, and it's also dealing with like the cultural barrier of like Muslims dating, American women, and the problems that arise when they're not Muslim. So especially when if a person grows up in a traditionally Muslim or very religious household like this guy was. And it's a really goddamn good movie. People have asked me what. I had a friend ask me one time. They're like, "What's the best movie? One of the best movies you've seen in a while?" And I was like, "Go fucking watch The Big Sick." I know they love romantic comedies. I said, "You'll love this movie. It's one of the best romantic comedies." They haven't told me whether they ever did or not, so I hope they do and they fucking watch it. But whatever. And the number one best film of 2017 is, drumroll please, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. This was about a month ago. Like I said, about a month ago, I was pretty much certain, like I said, The Big Sick was going to be my favorite film of the year still. And then I saw this. And I was like, after I saw this, I was like, I'm pretty certain I just saw the best movie of the fucking 2017 easily. God damn it. This was a movie that, again, is one of the favorites to win Best Picture. And last year, I had La La Land as my favorite film of the year. And I was determined that, well, maybe this will be the first year that my favorite film of the year ends up being the film that wins Best Picture. And it didn't. So I don't know if I'm cursing 3 Billboards. I don't know. We'll see. But God damn it. If I were the Oscars, I would give this to 3 Billboards. Frances McDormand's performance is amazing in this fucking movie. Her range as an actor in this film, where she is just a mom who's seen some fucking shit and been through some fucking shit. She went for a divorce with an abusive husband. Her daughter's murdered and raped. Nobody's found her killer, her daughter's killer. She is this hell-bent and determined woman who will do anything to find the killer, the person that killed her daughter, even if she has to go do some extreme measures. I've met women like this, and I can believe that women like this exist. Woody Harrelson, I thought, I did just recently realize he did get nominated for Best Supporting Actor. Great. He was one of the best performances, easily one of the best performances in this movie. I kind of understood why he got not some recognition, because he wasn't in the movie long. But goddamn, he was great. Sam Rockwell, who's I think the front runner for Best Supporting Actor, which is awesome. Pulls off like a performance that was so different from anything Sam Rockwell's ever fucking done. This movie was directed by the guy who made 7 Psychopaths and In Bruges. In Bruges being one of my favorite movies the last 10 years. If you haven't seen In Bruges, go fucking watch it. It's being directed by Martin McDonagh. One of the most well-written dark comedies, dramas I've seen in a while. A lot of people said this is like, it felt like Fargo. It's not too far-fetched. This movie was like, it was his kind of style of movie that felt like, even like it does feel like a Coen Brothers movie if it wasn't written by the Coen Brothers, actually written by the Coen Brothers. It's a damn good movie about grief and the shit you'll do with grief. The grief will do to you. It's a damn good movie. Go fucking see it. I have a feeling not a lot of people did go see it, although I think once it got the nominations, people did start going to see it. I hope it's more and more people did go see it. And I hope people that watch my top 10 list will go check this out now because I've recommended it. God damn it, I love that movie. Easily the best film of the year last year. So that's as far as the top 10 list. I'll be back here shortly with my top 5 worst list.